Well, hello, welcome again to reading of Odyssey Book 4, and I got up to line 235. And this is a speech now from Helen, who has just put drugs into their drink to calm them down after the emotional scene before. And she says, Atreidi menela diatraphes eidi kai hoidi andron estelon paides. O Menelaus, son of Atreus, nourished by Zeus. Now the "ade" is just a connective, really. It's hard to translate. It just means and we get another "and" here. So it's something like these ones are also the sons of noble men. But Theos alloti allo. Now this is a lovely idiomatic expression. This is alloti. You often get two of these together, but it simply means at one time and then another. And the allo has the sense of to one person and then to another. So the god Zeus, didoi, he gives at one time good to one person and at another time bad to another person. It's all slightly idiomatic there, but that's the sense of it here, the sort of distributive sense. So, but the god Zeus grants, well, you could take it all together. He grants good and bad at one time to one and another time to someone else. Dunataiga hapanta, for he has the power in respect of all things. So he is able, understand, to do all things, something like that. Aitoi nun dunasti kathemena en megaroisin kai muthois terpeste. But now indeed, sitting in the halls, dinus there is an imperative, so it's dine, enjoy your dinner, and take pleasure in words. Oye kotagar katalexo. And I will relate, from katalego, oikota, this is a participle from oikos, that which is suitable. And I will relate that which is suitable, I think is not a bad translation of that little sentence, very short sentence here. Now she's going again to mention Odysseus, but not all of the things. So she says, Panta min uk an ego muthesamai udi onameno. I would not speak, nor, well, this is probably perhaps a future here, it could be a subjunctive, will I name, will I mention by name. The verb here is onamino, and this will be a future here. Nor will I name all things, as many as are the ethloi, are the struggles of, the talus thing, strong-hearted Odysseus. So I'm not going to tell you all of the stories of strong-hearted Odysseus and all his trials. Al hoion to erexe, kai etle kateros aner. It's literally here, but there is this such a thing which. So I will, but this thing such as. Such a thing which he did, and that mighty man endured in the land of the Trojans, where Pascete, you Achaeans, suffered permanent griefs. So I won't tell you everything, but I'll just tell you this thing. You could take the hoios here is such at, slightly awkward, this thing such as it is, or such a thing that. So I will tell you such a deed which he did, probably best. I will tell you understood such a deed which he did, and the strong man endured in the land of the Trojans, where you Achaeans suffered grief. Nice sound patterns here. Othi paskati permata. Auton min plagesi aekaliesi damasas. Literally, having tamed himself. This is auton min for auton. So perhaps having tamed himself with cruel blows from plagae. So in other words, he's disfigured himself. Balone casting around his shoulders spera kaka. Spera is wrappings, coverings, and the kaka a base. So base or filthy clothes, filthy wrappings. Oike he oikos, like to an oikus. This is a house servant. So like, we just say like to a servant, perhaps in the fashion of a servant. Kat Edu, he went down from Kataduno to the broad-streeted city of men who were hostile, so of the enemy, literally of men who were hostile. Allo dauton photi katakrypton a iske decte. And Katakrypton, disguising himself, he made himself like to another man, and in opposition to that, a decte. This is a word meaning a beggar. It's from decamai, to receive, so one who receives alms and things is a beggar. Doesn't quite gel with the fact that up here he's like to a house servant, which is somewhat different to a decte. It's a beggar, but there we are. Hos uden toios ein eni neusin Achaeon, who was such a man in no respect at the ships of the Achaeans. In other words, this was a very different role than he played normally back at the ships of the Achaeans. So a servant who was in no wise such a one, literally, at the ships of the Achaeans. So who was very different to what he was at the ships of the Achaeans. To Ikalos, like to him, like to that man, this beggar, Kat Edu, he went down to the city of the Trojans. But they, Abakesan, this is a fairly rare word. In fact, I think it's so rare that it's only here in all of Greek. It's from abakio. It means without speech. So it's literally to be speechless. So all of them were speechless in the sense of they took no notice. They didn't even bother to say anything to him. So all of them took no notice of him. But I, Oye alone, anegnon from anaginosko, I recognised him being such as he was. Kaimin an erotone, this is from an erotao, and I questioned him. The Anna has that sense of, I think, questioned him at length. But he, Leanen, he avoided me by his cleverness. So he avoided telling me a bit by his cleverness. But when, in fact, I, Leon, this is from what would later be Luo, I think. So when I was bathing him, and I was anointing him with oil, so these are two imperfects. When I was bathing him and when I was anointing him with oil, Hessa, this is from aorist from Hennumi, and I put hemata, which again is cognate with that same root, so it's hemata Hessa, with a nice sound to it, and it's both forms from that verb Hennumi, to put on. But I put clothes around him, and I swore, Kater on Horkon, I swore a mighty oath, not anaphani from anaphino, to reveal Odysseus among the Trojans. Now we get this prin. The first prin you don't translate, the second one is until. So I took a mighty oath that I would not reveal Odysseus to the Trojans until he had come to the swift ships and to the tents. Kaitoti de moi panta on Catilex and Achaia, and at that time indeed he related, well, it's every intention of the Achaeans, so each intention of the Achaeans. So we would say in English, he revealed all the plans or all the intentions of the Achaeans. Having killed many of the Trojans with his Tana Ak Calco, well, this is something like long-pointed, perhaps it's the edge, so with his long-pointed bronze, this is bronze spears, he went among the Argives, Catadephronon Aegipolein, and he brought back, I think for the kata, literally he brought down, so he brought back Polein Phronin, literally much thought, much knowledge, in fact. He brought back much information. So he was there as a spy, and he's brought back much Phronin, much intelligence in the modern sense, we'd say. Nth alloy Troai lig ekokuon. And there all the Trojan women were crying out shrilly, that is when Troy falls, Arte, but my heart, Kyrie, rejoiced. Since then, cardiemoi, my heart, et traptot, this is tetraptot, this is a pluperfect passive, had been turned. In other words, I changed my mind. My heart had been turned, neesthai, to return, aps back, oikondi, to home. So at this stage, he says, I'd changed my mind, so I was quite happy if he freed me from the Trojans. Arten metastenon. Metasteno is to lament, a change of lament. So I lamented afterwards of my arte, of the, well, perhaps the arte is a hard word to translate. It means destruction, can mean foolishness, it's connected sort of with fate and so on. So afterwards I lamented afterwards my arte, which Aphrodite gave, so she blames Aphrodite, when she led me Caesar here from my dear ancestral land, from Aya. Paida temon nos visamenain. Me having been separated from my child, and my bedroom, and my husband, of whom, tu for tinos here, this is the genitive, it's like tinos, who was not lacking anything, neither accordingly in his mind, nor in his eidos appearance. So in other words, who lacked nothing, whether in wit, whether in his common sense, nor in his good looks, nor in his appearance. And that is the next section of Book 4.